Okay, this is a new issue, and it's a networking issue. So let's see what we got here. This looks pretty long. Okay, it says parts of internet connection bug out randomly for long periods, but connection still mostly works. Okay, cool. So I'm in the US on a Spectrum cable connection, cable, modem, router, Ethernet to PC. Hey, good looking out. I appreciate you telling me everything that you have set up. Wi-Fi to other devices. The connection worked great until about 2 weeks ago when random applications that need the network started having trouble connecting. This includes games, TeamSpeak, and Discord. My Roku has trouble at times loading YouTube as well. I haven't done an exhaustive study of what works and doesn't on which devices. I only get to use the internet when I'm not working, so the troubles I've seen have only occurred between 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. On some days it'll be just fine for a few hours. In fact, I had a text scheduled to show up, but since the connection started working fine after about 30 minutes before he arrived, I canceled it. I rescheduled, then the connection worked fine for a few days, but I had him showing up anyway. You don't want to do that because they can charge you a trip charge. That's like $50. He said everything was fine, although I was at work. There was someone else at home with the no tech knowledge. Oh yeah, connection worked fine for a couple of days and now it's wonky again. I can do things like browse the net fine for the most part on my hardwired PC, but trying to play online games like War, Thunder, and Darktide don't work. I forwarded the relevant ports to the router to no avail. My next step to fix this would be calling Spectrum again, but I have to be at home, be experiencing the issue during that period, and for them to be of any help. Furthermore, it could be something other than the network connection at issue, but I have no idea what. I'll try reinstalling Windows if you guys can help me out here with anything. Oh God, no, don't do that. No, don't do that, LOL. And by that, I literally mean everything you were about to do. Spectrum may charge you a trip fee if nothing is found to be the issue, and wiping the computer for a network issue seems a bit heavy-handed. All right, so let's look at this issue, right? Okay, after we told him to stop everything. Okay, so I can do things like browse the net fine. Now, what's interesting is he said, but I have no idea what. Okay, so he said that he had a wired connection. I can do things like browse the net fine for the most part on my hardwired PC, but trying to play online games like War and Thunder and Darktide don't work. So he has his, so he basically has his modem going into his router, cable modem going into the router, and then the router connecting to his PC. So with this one here, I would say what he's going to want to do is bypass the router and connect directly up into the modem. So with this one here, with the hardwired, because he used the word hardwired, I'm not making it up. So you don't want to use words that they're not using. So he used the word hardwired, so that's exactly what we're going with. So with this one here, with the hardwired cable, we want to bypass your router and hook up directly into the modem. I'll explain this entire thing here in 1 second. Hook up directly into the modem. Also, reboot the modem so it will acquire a new IP address. Okay. See if this resolves your issue. Okay. I'll explain all of everything that I said here. Okay, so here's the situation, okay? Should I draw this? Nah, I can just explain it. So with this one here, with the hardwired cable, we want to bypass your router and hook up directly to the modem. Also reboot the modem so it will require a new IP address. Okay, so the whole thing with rebooting modems. So when you bypass a router, so you have to understand. So the modem has given the IP address, the public IP address that it has gotten from the internet service provider. It got it from a pool of IP addresses, and it has given that information to the router, and the router now has that IP address. Okay, so basically the modem still has a connection to the router. So when you bypass it by connecting your computer into the modem and basically bypassing the router entirely, what you're actually doing is you're trying to acquire the IP address that it just gave to the router. So sometimes it has problems with you trying to pull that IP address, because you have to understand this IP address is not static, meaning that you're going to ARP and request that information. And ARP is like a broadcast. And in this one here, it is a DHCP query. So basically you're asking for an IP address. But the modem sometimes has problems responding to you asking for an IP address. Okay, maybe I should show this. Okay, so with this one here, if we are, why you keep going to sleep on me, man? Stop going to sleep on me, man. Okay, cool. Yeah, so if we have a modem here, okay, so we say a modem, okay, and we put a big M on it, so we all know it's a modem, and then we have a PC over here, right? Okay, and go like that, and like that. Okay, cool. That's our PC. So if this guy here is going to send what's called a DHCP offer. So it's basically going to send a discovery to this guy here because they're hooked up directly, right? So there is a line going to them. So this is I can't spell the word offer with this. Maybe I can. Offer. Okay, so basically it's going to query and it's going to ask for an offer. So basically it's querying, trying to get an IP address, right? So it's trying to get the IP address that the modem originally had to the router, which was over here. And we'll say this is going to be your router. So it basically gave that IP over here to the actual router itself. So it has a problem trying to give that then to this guy here who wants it, because it still thinks that it has given it to the router. So when this happens, it can basically not give you that IP address, hence why you have to reboot. So that's what happens with that particular situation. So if we go back to this, and so now we talked about the whole part of the reboot, and then we're talking about bypassing the router entirely and hook directly up, which is something that we've said several times before. But the reason why we're trying to bypass it is because we have to understand what happened. So you call a tech out, okay? So, and I'll explain this, right? So when you call a tech out, and it can be any internet service provider, it doesn't really matter. They're only responsible from the tap to your home. That's it, okay? So if the tap from your home is okay, as well as they're responsible for the equipment in the home. So like if you have it rented out from them, they're also responsible for that. But if you own the equipment outright, they're not even responsible for that. So they're only responsible for the tap to the house. So when you call them out, all they're gonna do is bypass your entire environment, hook up directly to the outlet that you currently have, and see if the signal is good. So if we assume that what the cable provider said was correct, that he checked the signal and everything was fine, okay, then that would mean he only proved that the signal to the house was good, okay? So because he only proved that, then there's a high probability that the issue that you're currently experiencing is a network connectivity issue between the router or the cable or something along those lines. So that's why we're just doing the bypass. Now, if we bypass it and he still has the problem, then he can call the actual tech support people to have them come out and all that kind of stuff. And then they won't charge you unless the issue turns out to be the modem and you own the modem. But that's a totally different ballgame. But 9 times out of 10 at that point, then you can call them out. But I guarantee you for this issue, 9 times out of 10, as soon as he bypasses that router and those cables, it's gonna fix his issue. Because the provider, the internet service provider, already told you that it wasn't them. Generally, a tech, if he comes out, he's going to at least try the signal at a tap. He's going to at least try it. So if we assume that he is correct, okay, then all that's left is him. he just doesn't realize that it's him because he has it going into the router right now. So that's why you would want to bypass it. And then that's also why you would want to reboot the modem, because whenever you try to get that IP address from the modem, it may not even respond to that offer. It may just be like, I don't know who you are. So, oh, I'm sorry. It's not offer. It's actually, I said offer. Offer is what it sends back. The actual packet is called a discovery packet. It just came to my mind. Let me fix that real quick. This is come on. There we go. This is actually called a discovery packet. DISCOV. This is really hard to write. I'm gonna switch it to a iPad. It's called a discovery packet. The packet that it sends back is called an offer though. It's called DORA. So it's called discovery, offer, response, and then an accept. So it's called DORA, but it's called a discovery packet. I can remember the first letter, and so I called it an offer, but an offer is what it sends back. It offers the IP address, but the laptop sends a discovery to the modem to try to get that IP address, but the modem sometimes it won't respond because it was just connected to a router and the router had already done all that. So sometimes the modems have problems responding to the acquisition of an IP address. So it may not respond because it's still connected to the router. So that's the reason why you reboot the modem.